Hey guys, it's been a while. Mostly because I'm still not happy with YouTube, and honestly, there hasn't really been anything worth talking about in a while. The thing that woke me from my slumber was the news that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to release a whole month early on August 3rd, which of course got me pretty excited. You know, that my long awaited Astarion romance would finally come to fruition much sooner than anticipated. There were also rumors of a Halcyon romance, which got me even more excited. It wasn't long before I updated the game and got back into planning my first run of the game for launch. Oh, but Mmogurl, if you're so excited, then what's the reason for that heinous thumbnail? Well, guys, it wouldn't be the first time I made a direct criticism about a company that created a game that I love. You remember Cyberpunk, right? Me and CDPR are still on the rocks. And to be honest, I've had my complaints with the early access duration for Baldur's Gate 3 too, as well as the feature creep that occurred with changing the dialogue over and over again. I mean, I think it's cool that they added a lot, but I was definitely in the camp of finish the game first, worry about adding that stuff once you're done. We have already waited for, well, in October it will be 3 years of early access. So yeah, my point is that just because I'm about to complain, it doesn't change how I feel about the game, just as it didn't change how I felt about Cyberpunk. But for whatever reason, there are some people who just can't seem to understand the fact that you can be mad at something and still like it. They've apparently never been in a long-term relationship or had kids. So what am I complaining about today anyway? Well, you remember how I mentioned I updated the game and went in to plan my first full playthrough? Well, the first thing I noticed was this on the launcher. I thought, why does it say pre-order when I already bought the game? I mean, the only people that are seeing this on the launcher are people who have early access. So it's kind of a weird spot to put it, isn't it? I technically already did pre-order the game. Of course, I clicked it out of curiosity and because I saw the Mind Flayer statue, and I'm an avid collector of statues and figures. The art book and all the other fun stuff looked amazing too, and at this point, I'm pretty much ready to buy it because, opportunities like this don't come around that often, usually only when the game first comes out. I noticed there's a PC and a PS5 collector's edition as well as a digital deluxe version. And then I see the price tag and I'm like, wow, that's quite a lot of money. $270 plus tax, of course. And as I'm looking through the list of what's included, I see this collector's edition comes with a copy of the game. And I'm instantly wondering, why is there no early access upgrade? And right away, I'm feeling pretty shitty. Like, I'm expected to buy the game twice just to get the cool merch. In a lot of cases, I could see buying it if, let's say, my husband didn't already pay for early access too. I could have given it to him and not felt like I paid too much. But in this case, literally all of my friends already have a copy. So I decided to contact their merch support directly and ask because this seems like a horrendous oversight, doesn't it? I simply wrote, "Hey there, sorry if this has already been covered or if I missed it, but I'd love to get my hands on this collector's edition. The only issue I have is that I already bought the game for early access back in 2020. My hub did too, so we don't necessarily need any extra copies of the game and would love an option to just buy the merch. Will there be an option for early supporters to buy an EA collector's edition upgrade?" Now, personally, I think this is a completely reasonable and fair question to ask. I'm sure someone has already considered it, because I can't imagine anyone in this economy is in a rush to pay $60 to get a copy of a game they already own. I sent that email off and forgot about it over the 4th of July. Then today I got a reply back, and now I'm not going to put the email up and put the employee on blast, having everyone hold them under scrutiny, because I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble here or get anyone to grief them. But the details of the response did state that while they were thankful for my support, that there was no direct upgrade for the collector's edition, period. They said the collector's edition content and the game are separate keys, so I could redeem the collector's edition stuff on my Steam version and then give the game key away to a friend. But I already stated in my email that I didn't have anyone I wanted to give it away to. And isn't leaving everyone out who pre-ordered the game a bit of a blunder? How many people already purchased early access? I remember when it first came out in 2020, they said they had sold 1 million copies, but it's been 3 years now. I guarantee you that the number has gone up, and while trying to find an estimate, I found a link to Steam Spy that I can't see exact numbers on because I'm not a member, but it does say that there have been 2 million to 5 million copies sold. That's a lot of people to forget about. And let's say it's even just a bare minimum of 2 million. That's 120 million in additional game sales if every single one of those early access adopters were to buy a collector's edition. I mean, there's no way they would ever have 100% sales conversion like that, because I'm sure most early access patrons who are even thinking about buying the collector's edition are feeling pretty annoyed that they have to buy the game again. And the rest can probably write it off if they have someone they can give the game to. What about when you don't want to have to buy the game again just to get the cool stuff, though? Why did Larian not consider their early access supporters when putting these bundles together? Why didn't we get something special even for helping to financially support them through these 3 years of development and being there first? Why were we all just completely glossed over? There is nothing worse, in my opinion, than supporting someone from day one and having them completely forget about you. I don't even like to complain about Larian because on the whole, I feel like they're doing God's work when it comes to making good RPGs again. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't really call this a complaint, but more of an appeal. An appeal to think about the people who paid for early access already. $60 is not cheap in this economy, and there is no reason we should be expected to buy the game again. How hard would it be to simply add a version that is for early access patrons? It just sucks to be forgotten, especially when those of us who paid for early access have been waiting 3 years, and now we're just completely shafted and pushed aside when it comes to the collector's edition. It just feels really bad. I mean, I could always buy it and then give a copy away on my channel, but the cost of the game itself would be less than I make in ad revenue monthly. Giveaways are for big channels that actually get views. And what I really want is to be recognized for being here, not only buying the game and supporting Larian financially, but also for making content for the game for all those years. I know of several people that bought the early access just because of my videos too. And it kind of sucks to feel invisible, as I'm sure the rest of you can relate to as well. But mostly I just feel bad for inadvertently getting people to buy the game and then having Larian turn around and not even give us a fair shake at the collector's edition. You know, the whole situation reminds me a little of a personal anecdote, and it actually has to do with D&D too, which is funny. So I had a friend a few years back, and he was starting his own D&D game. He was really excited to be DMing the whole thing. I wasn't really wild about joining because there had been some disagreements between us about what I would be playing. And at first, he had a ton of friends who wanted to join the game, but they all backed out. And right when the game was about to start, like about a week before, he had literally just 2 people left, which wasn't going to be enough to run a game. He was so sad and upset, and being the sap that I am, I joined the game. I gave in and joined, playing this character I didn't really want to play, so he could get started. And it felt pretty good too, because he was all happy again, and it was nice to see, you know? But by the time we actually started the game, a lot of the other people who had dropped out worked out their schedules and joined us anyway. I think they ended up having 5 or 6 people, including me, which is a pretty rockin' group of people for D&D. That's a big party. There was some very clear nepotism in how the DM treated some of these people versus how he treated me. And I remember one time we were at a tavern and he individually asked everyone else what they wanted to drink and completely ignored me. I actually had to yell out that I wanted some milk, damn it, and that it was really bad customer service because I was playing on a tabaxi. So that went on for a while, and eventually I just dropped out of the game because I just really wasn't having a good time. But you can probably see the relevance. You know, Larian is the DM who needed me when he was first launching his game, but now that it's about to release and there's all these new people to buy it, you know, they just don't care about me anymore. I know that sounds dramatic, but that's just about how it feels. It's hard to justify spending almost $300 on a collector's edition, especially when the contents include a game you've already purchased. Granted, I have no idea how much it costs them to make all of the collectibles that come with it, but it would be really nice to see them offer an early access edition that comes at a discount less the cost of the game. especially when you know the game retails for $60. All right, well, that's it from me today. I'm still on the fence about watching The Panel from Hell tomorrow, mostly because the game is coming out so soon, and I don't know if I want to spoil or anything, but then I heard they're supposed to be revealing the final companion, even though I'm not wild about a halfling joining my party. I'll probably catch it if I can, though. Do keep an eye out for some more content here in the coming weeks. I do have some pre-launch stuff planned, and with that, I'll see you guys later.